Unplanned, the movie about Planned Parenthood clinic director turned pro-life leader Abby Johnson, hits the big screen next week. But this week, it hit Hollywood's red carpet. Pro-lifers and stars poured into Los Angeles, California for the Hollywood premiere. Unplanned tells the story of how and why Abby Johnson left Planned Parenthood. It's based on her book of the same name. The MPAA gave the film an R rating for 3 objectionable scenes involving abortion. In response, dozens of Christian leaders, ranging from former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s niece, Alveda King, have written an open letter to people of faith, encouraging them to see the film and highlighting that it contains no nudity or profanity. The Christian leaders wrote in part, "We, the undersigned, are urging our fellow citizens to, just as they did with the Passion of the Christ, ignore the MPAA's restricted rating and watch the film anyway." And joining us now in our West Coast studio are 2 of the actresses in the film, Maura Corsini and Robia Scott. Thank you both for being here. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. First off, can you both summarize your character in the film?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. So I play Megan. I am Abby's best friend. I also work with her at Planned Parenthood. I'm the first one who she ends up telling, obviously other than her husband, that she's leaving. And so my journey is sort of deciding whether I want to stay at this organization that I support and have worked for so many years, or do I take the risk and leave with Abby?
Mm. And I play Cheryl. I play the one that, from what I've heard, everyone loves to hate. I am the clinic director. I'm the face of Planned Parenthood. So when Abby comes into the clinic, I am the one mentoring her and grooming her and helping her to rise in the corporation.
You're the embodiment of the abortion industry in the film, personified.
Yes.
It seems.
Yes, I am.
You have an extensive background in history in the entertainment industry, but today you are a Christian minister. Can you kind of speak a little bit about your journey, and do you see this role as an extension of your ministry?
I actually started my career as a teenager. I saw the movie Flashdance way back in the day, and I decided I needed to be a professional dancer. So I toured the world with Prince as the Pearl half of Diamonds and Pearls in his album a few years back. And then I acted in various TV shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And around that time, I became a Christian, and I was still auditioning a bit, but I felt conflicted with what is out there on television and film. And I also just had an affinity right away for the things of God, the Spirit of God, for prayer. And I knew God was transitioning me out of a 20-year career in the entertainment industry and into full-time ministry. So for about 15 years now, I've been in full-time ministry. I'm a speaker, teacher, an author of a book called Counterfeit Comforts. And I honestly had never intended to go back to Hollywood. And so it just happened where I met the writer-directors of our film, Chuck and Carrie, and they shared a bit about the movie, and I was intrigued. I thought, uh-oh, what's going on here? Right. And they shared a little bit of, what's going on?
What's the plan?
Right. What's the plan? And then I saw a little bit of the script, and I was excited to go audition, and I was also wary when I saw this character, and I thought, really? Now I'm a Christian, and I'm excited to maybe be back in the entertainment industry. I'd love to do something very godly where maybe I'm a minister, and this was obviously the antithesis of that.
Right.
But I knew quickly in prayer that I was to do this movie because of what the movie stands for and the importance of this role.
You both mentioned you both work in the abortion industry, your characters in this film. How did you prepare for that, and did that have any impact on you?
I would say that had one of the most positive impacts on me
Really?
ever. Because to put yourself in, we used to do a exercise in high school sometimes where we would debate something we believe in, but we'd have to debate the other side. And the way it opens your mind, even if you don't agree with them, it lets you empathize with them. And I can speak for myself when I say my character, at least, was not portrayed in a bad light, and it's based on a real person. And so I got to talk to Abby about her and what she was like a little bit, get some tips, and hopefully I did it justice. But yeah, it was super eye-opening, I would say.
What about for you?
To say the least. Oh my goodness, I had an idea about Planned Parenthood before I started the film, but I think like so many Christians and non-believers in our society, we have been affected by the media and by the left media, and what the propaganda that Planned Parenthood puts out so strongly and really programs us to believe that they're about health care and they're about women empowerment, and abortion is a very small percentage of what they do. But of course, as I researched it more deeply, I found that that is not the case at all. And that's why I was so passionate about doing this movie.
From speaking with so many members of the cast and crew, it just seems like there's this reoccurring theme how God's hand was involved in this project.
Yeah.
Can you speak to the timing aspect of how things unfolded for Unplanned?
Well, this was tremendous because Chuck and Carrie had the rights to Abby Johnson's book, Unplanned, for 6 years. And they're men of God. And every time they went forward to go into production on the movie, the Lord said, not yet. So they put it aside, they did another project, then they came back to it a year later. And the Lord again said, not yet. And they started to be concerned. They thought, are we supposed to do this movie? Why are we getting stopped? And finally, God released them last year to do the movie, which we did. But had this film come out 4 years ago, 3 years ago, it would have been impactful.
Yes.
But even while we were shooting the film, none of what was happening
What we're seeing today.
What we're seeing
when it comes
today.
to the pro-life
So
movement.
to see what's happened in
Right.
New York, to see what's happened with the Senate and the bills that are being passed, I mean, this is such for time as that, such a time as this kind of movie. God has His hand all over it, and for the film to come out on March 29th is just.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
And the way it was done, too, it's so clear that there was a lot of divine intervention. Because, of course, Chuck and Carrie gave me that spiel of like, oh, we've been working on this, but God told us not to. And, you're a little skeptical. You're like, okay, I don't know you guys yet, but we'll feel this out. And then they're like, well, we're not using casting directors. And I was like, oh, boy. Everything worked so perfectly. It could have not worked better. Every individual on the cast somehow, in some weird path, found their way to the film.
Finally, as the film is set to premiere next Friday, March 29th, how does it feel that all of your hard work, it's been over a year in the making, is about to hit the big screen for everyone to see?
It's unreal. It's exciting. It's definitely nerve-wracking. I don't know how you feel about, obviously, living in LA, I know a lot of liberal people. I have a lot of liberal friends, and they're the ones more than anyone that I want to see this.
One of the aspects of Unplanned that I love is that it's not, this movie isn't a couple Christian guys, Catholic men who had an agenda and they're out there trying to share a message and preach something. It's just simply a true story. It's an unbiased view.
It is, truly it is. And I think that's what I want people to know going into it, because reading the comments on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, which is hard not to do when you're interested and you want to know what people think. But it's all like, this is propaganda and this is, just Christian propaganda or conservative propaganda. It's so not.
It's not.
It's a true story of a woman that we had on set with us to tell us this is what happened. I worked in this industry for 8 years.
She knows better than anyone. She was on the inside.
Anyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just praying that everyone who needs to see it does next Friday. Maura, Corsini, and Robia Scott, thank you for your work and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Unplanned is released on March 29th. Go to unplannedfilm.com to find showtimes and pre-order tickets.